They took Fang away. Why? Okay. Gotta focus. Have a review to do, that's my job. But seriously, why? I did say the final episode would have to leave some sort of lasting impact. And it did. It really did. Oh boy. I mean, Wrath of the Ape Men starts out nicely enough. For the first time in the whole series that's not a flashback, we finally see Spear and Fang at peace. They found this place that's paradise, basically. That's the only way to describe it. They have literally found a prehistoric paradise. There are no monsters or killer creatures, at least as far as they know at first. It's nice weather, the environment is relaxing, and nothing's out to kill them. It's so easy to get food that the fish in the pool literally just swim into your hand. The water is refreshing and crystal clear. And even though we do still get that shot which reveals that Fang as well as Spear has PTSD because she sees the earthworm in her footprint and that triggers a memory of episode 2 with the River of Snakes, we still get the sense that finally they've caught a break. Finally they've found somewhere they can just relax for a little bit. And the animation does such a good job making it all look so beautiful and peaceful. And then those apes show up. The apes just had to ruin everything. I've got nothing against apes. Even though I'm rooting against King Kong for the upcoming rematch with Godzilla, I don't hate King Kong. And I thought it was a tragedy that Harambe's reward for saving that kid who fell into the enclosure was to get shot to death. But these guys, they can rot. They were horrible, horrible creatures. But then again, I mean, they're not evil as far as I can tell. I mean, maybe they're a little bit more on the edge of that, being that they are thinking beings. But again, this show has never been about presenting conflicts of good and evil, and they still fit into that regard. You could say that technically Spear and Fang were probably encroaching on their territory by residing by that little peaceful pool. I have no doubt the ape men probably count that as part of their terrain. And their whole ritual fighting thing, that's clearly a part of their culture. It's horrifying, yes, but I mean, civilizations have been known to do that sort of thing before. I saw that and I immediately thought of Rome, the Colosseum, bread and circuses. That's what it evoked, just a primal, if you will, version of that. So I don't think they really meant anything in terms of some sort of evilness. I don't think this was some dark ritual or something. I think it was just what these creatures do. It's part of what makes up their identity. But it's the fact they had to take it out on poor Fang. Give me a minute. Yeah, anyway, it's the fact that they attacked Spear and Fang pretty much unprovoked that puts them over the edge, I think. 'Cause, like I said, you could argue that Spear and Fang were trespassing, but at the same time, the ape men are clearly civilized, and instead of attempting to talk things out, or instead of just chasing them out, they instead decide to capture them and kill them in a bizarre ritual ceremony. And, well, I mean, the results speak for themselves, certainly. For as tragic as the ending is, though, I do think this ending is appropriate in a way. it brings this show full circle. 'Cause we started with Spear being too late to save the people he loved and not having the means to do anything about it, even if he could have been on time. Here we once again see that he's too late to save someone he loves, but this time he does find a means to fight back on his own. And the result is horrifying. I mean, you thought the show was violent before. They were saving it all up for this, because apparently the ape men have this weird black liquid they use during this ritual where just a drop of the stuff makes their strongest gorilla warrior even stronger, turns him into the rabid version of Mighty Joe Young, and he becomes nearly unstoppable. He can even take on Fang one-on-one. So Spear finally manages to break his bonds. He makes his way to where that's held, and he drinks all of the stuff. He hulks out, and then he proceeds to go ballistic on those monkeys. And the thing of it is, it kind of builds in a way that kind of pulls the rug out from under you almost. It's like when you first see this episode and you're as helpless as Spear watching Fang getting beaten to death by this giant gorilla, you're thinking, yeah, Spear, go get that formula, go drink it all, and then go show these monkeys who's boss and save Fang and ride off into the sunset like you always do. And then he gets the stuff, he drinks it all, turns into this horrifying, inhuman monster, and he starts destroying, decimating, eviscerating all of them. Not just the offending warrior, but all of the spectators as well. And that's where they saved all the eviscera for. Yeah, I commented that in the other episodes up to this point, it's just been blood for the most part. But here we do see the bones and the guts getting everywhere, which could have been handled so poorly, but I think they were saving it specifically for this moment because it's supposed to be a terrifying moment. Like I said, up to this point we were thinking, yes, show those monkeys who's boss, drink the stuff, and kill them all. And then he does it. Spear does exactly what we thought we wanted him to do, but it's not satisfying to see. By which I mean, it doesn't feel like it's truly justified. Yes, we want Fang to be avenged in a certain way, but it's like he had to sacrifice his humanity, the one thing that really made him who he was, in order to do this, and he shows no mercy. And we know that he can show mercy. We know he values life from those flashbacks. Whether or not that flashback was with him and his son, or of him when he was a kid, doesn't matter. The point is still the same. So seeing him become a monster in this moment, and seeing him commit such horrible violence, that definitely leaves an impact. And of course at the end, when he goes back to normal, the effects of that goo wear off, and he's surrounded by all of that death and destruction he caused, we learn it might not have been for anything anyway, because Fang certainly seems to be dead. I mean, it's possible she's not. The episode ends on just enough of a vague note that if they did do a second season, and there have apparently been rumblings that if the first season does well, they might do a second season. That's just pure rumor at this point, mind you, pure speculation. But they could, if they went that route, have her open her eyes and reveal that she wasn't really dead, she was just severely wounded. But if this is all we get, then it really drives home the fact that all of that violence in this world still cannot save the people you love, even if those people aren't people, even if they're dinosaurs. And it would be such a tragic note to end on, but it's earned. It's appropriate. It's not like they just ended on a dark note because they wanted to end on a dark note. I always have a bit of a gripe with things that seem like they're going to end on a positive note, only to then end on a dark note because dark endings are what get attention and win awards. I feel like that's cheap. This didn't feel cheap. This felt like if it really is the end, it was earned. I'm still really sad they had to sacrifice Fang to do it, but I mean, how else could it have ended? So here we are at the grand finale. And I remember my review of episode 1, I described that episode as haunting. Having reached the conclusion, I feel that's an appropriate descriptor for the whole series. Genndy Tartakovsky's Primal is haunting. Hauntingly terrifying, hauntingly beautiful, hauntingly moving. Every possible word you could attach the word haunting to, it fits. And it's one of the best things I've seen in a while. Regardless of genre, regardless of medium, this was something special. This was something unique. You know, there have been other animated series as of late that people have tried to elevate as redefining everything. These are the shows that are above the others. They are true works of art, and everyone should aspire to be like these. They mention things like Gravity Falls, Steven Universe, Rick and Morty, if you want to bring up anime, Attack on Titan perhaps. All of them fall short of Primal. Regardless of whether or not you think any of those shows are good, none of them compare to Primal. Primal really is the work of art that redefines the medium. Like, when I got to the end of Gravity Falls, I enjoyed Gravity Falls while it was happening, but when I got to the end, almost immediately, as soon as the credits rolled, I was thinking, that was it? It didn't really feel like it was truly satisfying. I was underwhelmed when I finished Gravity Falls. With Primal, I am overwhelmed in all of the right ways. I don't know if there are plans for a season 2. I don't know if we'll even get a season 2 if there are plans for it. And I don't know if we'll ever see anything quite like Primal again. But I'm glad I was along for this ride. This was an event. And Primal is the kind of show that is going to stick with me for a very long time. That's a sign of true art, if you ask me. I still miss Fang, but I definitely think Primal was worth it. Every single second was worth it. It didn't feel like it was made to win awards. It didn't feel like it was made to cash in on a trend. It felt like it was made because the people making it believed there was a good story to tell, and the people who produced it knew that was a good story and wanted it to get out there. And I'm glad that it is out there. I don't know if it's for everyone, certainly, but, well, that's art for you. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer, signing off. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, as well as subscribe to the channel for more content of a similar nature. Also, check the description for links to our Twitter, DeviantArt, and Patreon pages, as well as the Amazon link for the novel Operation Red Dragon: The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, penned by yours truly.
Thank you all, and we appreciate your support.